Welcome all, if we're really live.
It lies.
Yeah. No, Joel, the quilt is not upside down. Stop it. Hey, Jim. Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's Texas in the summer.
Yeah.
It's hot. But it's also hot in London.
No kidding.
104 over there, I think you said.
104, a massive fire in London right now.
And London is burning. Uh, it's interesting when you go back and look at various organizations and their take on things. Shut up, DW.
Hey, Jay, James Totten in comments is a childhood friend of mine. Y'all need to say hi to him.
Yeah.
He's a burgeoning young author, retired Army, good all around good old boy.
London, England.
Did the Germans start to fire?
Anyway, to get back to the whatever I was going to say. Oh yeah, the World Meteorological. I could say that word.
Thing.
WMO. Yeah, them people.
The world weather people.
Yeah, they've said we're in the second year of a La Nina,
Mhm.
which is a cooling. A cooling in the weather patterns. This is going to be one of those.
Not only is the Army a good guy, he's also a Mustang.
So the second year, and they are predicting possibly a third year next year. We haven't had a triple since the 1950s of 3 years in a row of La Nina. But what that's done is it has flipped the temperatures. So the south, i.e., south of the equator, has had worse winter weather. We've got worse summer weather,
I would trade them some winter weather right now.
and the wind patterns have changed. But here's where it gets interesting. The WMO is now saying this is human caused.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's climate change because of humans.
Whatever.
Right after they said, we haven't seen one of these since the 1950s.
So we had one in the 50s.
Yeah.
At least in the 50s.
Yeah. In other news,
People do realize that our current high temperature is still below the average temperature for the last millennia.
Yeah.
Just checking.
you know that, I know that.
Wow, first F-bomb pretty quick. It's been a stressful week.
I've got a question.
Uh-oh, Rita has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I saw a thing. Sorry, this is going to be an airhead moment.
Okay.
But you already know me. But I saw a thing in the news like a couple of weeks ago about a big, nasty, violent storm on was Saturn or Neptune, and
Yeah, Neptune.
They're like,
Neptune.
what the, you know what? And what I think is just really outrageous is that us, with our addiction to dinosaur squeezins, is causing storms out in the galaxy. What the hell? We're like, what are we doing? We're tearing everything up. Storms don't happen unless, bad weather only happens when humans are there. And even though, and the funny thing is people make fun of biblical scholars or the people who insist the earth is only 6,000 years old and what have you. But, and they say that dinosaurs predated humans, but then there's like woolly mammoths who died frozen instantly with green grass chewing in their mouths.
Yep.
So, and which supposedly predated humans. And anyway, so dinosaurs just bad all around.
Yeah.
I blame dinosaurs. Again, it's the dinosaur squeezing.
Dinosaur squeezins.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jim says, launch the EPA to Uranus. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently there's a climate change on Neptune.
Yeah.
Damn, we're good. That's all I
Yeah.
got to say.
Pantyfar rampaging through Seattle to Crystal Lake based on family history. Oh, good. Yeah. That's, yeah. Anyway, to get back to what I was going to talk about, the gun sales. California, in their infinite wisdom, has Newsom signed a new law into effect today that is a subjective requirement that goes further than current background checks on prohibitions of selling guns to people prohibited to own them. The regulation is a new law creating a good conduct code for gun makers and dealers that also allows anyone who suffers harm to sue. So basically, what it is saying is it's on the gun dealers
To guess what your state of mind is.
Yeah. So California has gone full pre-crime.
I swear to God, if the ammo manufacturers and the gun manufacturers don't stop selling to California law enforcement agencies, they're missing a really big.
And every friggin' politician in California. Oh, Kermit, that's, yeah. Steaming, squeezings all over the surface instead of underground. The squeezing part was the dinosaurs got squeezed to make oil.
Dinosaur reasons.
Yeah, David, good conduct and good character clauses have had a long history going back at least to the Civil War, meaning money it didn't white.
Good conduct and good character simply means that anytime somebody buys a gun from anybody and does a crime with it, the person they bought it from is guilty of not properly assessing their character.
Yep. Yeah, Rick. And the first time an FFL denies a sale, they'll get a civil rights lawsuit. Imagine what would happen if it was a protected class of person. Not that we've seen them sue anybody for other stuff. Who decided to immediately go into a gun store, try to buy a gun, and get turned down and get sued. We're not going down the dinosaur squeezings. No, we're done with that one.
That's a Rita-ism, and we're just going to leave it at that.
I have a question.
Uh-oh, Rita has another question.
Yes, ma'am.
If someone who, this is a hypothetical.
Okay, it's a hypothetical.
If a person who identifies as a woman impregnates another person who is a woman who identifies as a woman, a birthing person in a gun store, can they sue the gun store?
Well, sure, why not? It's
Yeah.
California.
Might as well. Rita's question should be presented in song. The other,
Oh dear.
the other gun issue.
There's more than one?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
the shooting up in Indianapolis and
Ha!
or Greenwood or wherever the hell it was.
Boy, are they pissed about that one.
Yeah, what they're really pissed about is is the fact that the chief of police up there called the shooter a good Samaritan.
Huh?
The left is going batshit nuts over that statement.
They'll get over it.
And that and the fact that, well, he was 22 years old and he was carrying a gun illegally in the mall.
No, he wasn't. Well, he was 22.
Well,
But the signage on the mall was apparently incorrect.
Yeah.
Did not follow the law. And law in Indianapolis, or in Indiana, even if it had been a correct sign, all they could do was ask him to leave.
also they found out, popped out this morning, the first person killed
Had a gun. Yeah.
had a gun, never got a chance to draw it and use it.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
they can't fundraise off the Indiana shooting now. Yeah. And that is correct, Josh. The cops and Simon Malls both have acknowledged that.
Everyone that whose opinion actually means anything
Yeah.
has acknowledged that no, he was completely legal.
And the last thing I want to bitch about
And
today,
apparently his girlfriend / fiance / spouse like love unit is in medical training. Immediately started doing providing
Yeah.
medical aid to those.
Yeah.
Wow.
including the little girl.
Twofer.
The last one I want to go into is the Vice Admiral Vice Admiral Brown, who was got a punitive letter of reprimand from the Navy Secretary
After he was retired.
after he's retired because of the Bonhomme Richard fire. Brown was the only one of the admirals in San Diego that was actually trying to get the fire fought properly after the other admirals got in a pissing contest over whose chain of command was responsible. And the investigating admiral and Brown had a long history of, shall we say, disagreements. And Brown was never even questioned.
Of course not. We know how that goes.
Yeah. And Brown's statement to the Navy Times was, it's a political hit.
It is.
For whatever reason, to appease the Senate, appease Congress, and we're going to hang a 3-star.
We need to blame it on somebody.
Yeah.
Thing is personally, having been in the military and public service, people have gotten way too convinced. That's the right word?
Yeah.
That the very highest rank existing must be personally in charge of whatever disaster is going on. We have, as a society, decided that if we have a Katrina, the president of the United States must take control of the situation. If we have a ship on fire, the admiral in the area must take. Why?
The admiral stepped in. I'll tell you why he stepped in.
Well, no, it's not stepping in. It's everybody thinks that everybody expects him to be there taking charge of the situation. No, it should be whoever's on scene should be doing it and let the admiral know. The admiral shows up later to pat backs, shake hands, do a media thing, hand out awards, and fuck off to Buffalo.
And that was not what happened with the Bonnie
No, but that's what's supposed to happen.
The CO was canned, the XO were canned. So was
the CO and the XO should have been the ones on scene taking care and getting it taken care of.
They didn't.
Well, then they should have been canned.
Yeah.
The admiral should have gone, what do you need?
And he did.
Yeah. So he did good.
And he was actually coordinating federal firefighting, Navy firefighting, and civilian firefighting efforts.
To me, it's above and beyond.
Yeah.
This whole, we're going to ding him. Why? That's not fighting that fire. That particular fire is not on the admiral's shoulders. Now, if the entire fucking fleet's on fire,
that's a different thing.
That's a different story. But that one fire is not his. The only thing he should do is, I'm here. What do you need?
That's basically what he did.
And he did good.
And he pushed it up, which pissed off the operational side because he was not the operational commander. He was merely surf
dancing. But that's in the United States. In the United States, as a society, we should stop expecting the very highest person in existence to be personally in charge of our little tragedies.
Yep.
If New Orleans is about to get center punched by a hurricane, the only thing the president should be doing is saying, what do you need?
Yep.
We, the media, and the citizens of New Orleans and everywhere else should not get all their panties all up in a wad because the president did immediately go down there and take command. No, that's not the person on scene.
Yeah.
Even after he shows up, the person on, and this may be my military and public service showing, but the person on scene has command. Yep. Even when your boss shows up, all your boss does is, you got this, what do you need me to bring?
Yep, incident commander is the incident commander.
Supposed to be, and everything's on him.
Joel, there were multiple levels of insufficient firefighting training and preparedness in that whole incident. I've read the entire report, and it's just flat fucking ugly. The shipyard was not prepared. They shut down 80% of the fire suppression systems on the ship. They didn't have enough people there to fight the fire. They abandoned the ship. The CO pulled the people out rather than fight the fire.
Well, that's on him.
The people that showed up.
Why is the admiral getting dinged? Because the CO is a numbnuts.
The admiral is getting dinged because it's politics. They had to hang somebody.
Well,
Yeah.
the last 2 years, I should know that.
Yeah. Yeah, he makes a handy scapegoat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God, Jay said FJB isn't in charge of his Pampers.
Yeah. Yeah, Rick. Hey, you and I both know because we've been through Navy firefighting. New Orleans mayor was double protected, so
Oh,
he
don't
couldn't
get me
be held
started.
responsible
The
for the float test of those
Mayor
school
Ray
buses.
Nagin Memorial Bus Yard
Yeah,
or Submarine Fleet, whichever one it
submarine
is.
fleet, and all the emergency preparedness, food, water, and everything else that's sunk along with it because
See, that's a prime thing. Okay. New Orleans didn't follow us, had a binder this thick
Yeah.
of what to do when a hurricane's coming. Got a binder this thick.
Yeah.
Didn't follow any of it. Nah. So the department heads and the mayor should have taken the neck for that.
Yeah.
Bush should not have been, George W. Bush, for all his faults, should not have been blamed for Katrina.
Yep.
That wasn't his issue.
Yep.
But no, we had to hang Bush over it.
Yeah.
That sounded bad.
when Nagin and whatever the bitch in charge of Louisiana at the time, the governor was, refused to help, refused to take the help early. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, no, I'm tired of this, and it's media driven. It's media driven, and part of it is
Blanco, yeah.
Blanco. The part of it is the average person's desire for a king, which I didn't used to believe was a thing.
Yeah.
But your average illiterati has this secret desire to have somebody up there with ultimate authority who cannot be questioned.
Yep.
A king, an emperor. And I didn't used to think so. It's particularly prevalent in the media. They all want a king. They want a god emperor.
Yeah.
Obama. During the Obama years, we got to see a prime example of that. They want a god emperor. By God, I'm not living in a Warhammer. The memes are fun. Don't want to live in the Warhammer universe. God emperors are a stupid idea. But
Yeah.
apparently the media thinks they're great.
Yeah, DW, you're exactly right. Bush did beg Blanco to make it a disaster declaration so he could federalize the troops and get them in there. She refused to do it, and yeah, the deer in the headlight look. John is also correct. Mississippi National Guard mobilized immediately. There was no problem in Mississippi. They got things taken care of. My cousin, when Camille hit, they were activated 2 days ahead of time. They were in New Orleans when Camille hit before the backside of the storm had passed over New Orleans. Different governor.
But
Anyway,
I'm tired of this screaming desire for a god emperor.
Yeah.
They want somebody who can write laws immediately without having to go through that whole legal lawmaking process.
Yeah.
They want to just stroke the pen. I have write a law. I like this law. I like you.
yeah, you're exactly right, DW. They can legally make the declaration in advance, but the government cannot do anything until the governor makes the declaration, which she refused to do.
I just had something to.
And one other one, just to throw this
I've
out,
forgotten what the hell I was going to rant about.
about the Air Force, or in this case, the Air Force. In their infinite wisdom, they have decided that flying the KC-46 into a combat environment could possibly be dangerous.
No, it's a giant tin can full of fuel. What
Yeah.
could go wrong?
So what they're talking about doing now, and this is some of the responses from the pilots of the Air Force have been interesting, is they are discussing cutting the crew back on a KC-46 to a pilot and a boom operator only, nobody else on the airplane, because it might be dangerous.
No.
Yeah.
Flying a tin can full of volatile petrochemicals might be dangerous. That's Air Force for you. No shit, Sherlock.
So they're going to put a pilot and a boom operator on a KC-46 for 10 to 12 hours by themselves.
Yeah, once.
So how many piddle packs will that pilot, male or female, go through in 10 to 12 hours?
Oh, just wait till that pilot gets a bad MRE. Now what you gonna do?
Uh,
He's curled up in the back puking. Now what, boom operator?
yeah, boom operators don't normally fly airplanes.
I hope he's got a chute.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah.
the chute on the pilot, shove him out the door. You go out the door, wave bye-bye to your
Well,
flying tin can full of volatile
only,
petrochemicals.
there's only one problem with that. You
One?
can't bail out of a KC-46 to air. It doesn't have any parachutes on it because you can't get the door open.
Trust me. One, if I'm a boom operator enlisted, I'll find parachutes.
You cannot get anything open to get out of the airplane.
I would figure something out.
You can't.
I was enlisted. I can trust me. 3 bowling balls is not. If I can handle up on 3 bowling balls, I can take care of the tin can.
Green and Josh. Oh, yeah. Actually, DW, that would be what I would do is a crash axe to get the aircraft to depressurize, put on my oxygen mask, pop the overwing escape hatch, and that would be my exit out of the airplane.
Trust me.
No,
I've been enlisted.
David, the problem is the KC-46, much like other airplanes, even if you get the airplane depressurized, you can't get the door open because they open forward into the wind stream, not aft.
Trust me, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm enlisted. 3 bowling balls, 1 missing, 1 broken, 1 pregnant. Trust me.
I'm trying to remember if it was the DC-6 or DC-7 that had a crash axe in the cockpit and a red outline on the floor that was the emergency procedure for getting the nose gear down.
Oh, that's nice.
Was you had to chop a hole in the cockpit floor to get to the pull handle to try to release the nose gear.
Yay.
Different time.
Anyway, I remember I was going to roundabout. Apparently,
Over to you.
the Democrats, in their infinite wisdom, have decided that they want to add 4 more judges to the Supreme Court. Now, the law won't get anywhere, but they're drafting one. They're going to jump the Supreme Court to 13 to give them a 7-6 majority vote, because nothing says we champion democracy like changing shit when it doesn't go your way. On that, granted, they won't get this done, but should they get this done and bump the Supreme Court to 13, I don't want to hear a single goddamn one of them piss and moan when the Republicans take over and bump it up to 21.
Yeah.
You can do it once, you can do it twice.
Yeah. Pretty soon it'll be 50 Supreme Court
Yep.
judges.
Be 51, because after the Republicans bump it to 21, the next time Democrats take control, they'll bump it to 25. And the Republicans will get everything again. They'll bump it to 32. And then the Democrats get everything again. They'll bump it to 51. And it's just,
Yeah.
fucking morons just really set my teeth on edge.
Yeah, McChuck, I'm with you. Term limits for
Nope.
everybody in government.
Nope. We have term limits. They're called voters. However,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Texas had for our judges. Our district court judges are elected to office every 4 years. District criminal courts. But there's this little thing that the Texas voters did that said nobody can stand for election as district judge if they've attained their 72nd birthday.
Yeah.
If you're 72, you can't run for re-election or election. I'm a big fan of doing that for Congress.
Yep.
If you're a senator, you have to be, 32?
Yep.
You have to be 32 to be a senator, and you cannot be older than 72. Time to fuck off, take care of your grandkids.
Yep.
Or hell, I'll go 62.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse, you're right. They nuked the filibuster, and then that was Harry Reid. And then it got all kinds of
Ooh,
butter
yeah, they did.
when
Yeah.
it got used against them. And they've tried to use it. They've tried to overturn it twice this time around.
Yeah, Kristen Sinema. She's an idiot. Democrat of Arizona. She's an idiot. She's a full-on idiot. But I have to give her props for this.
Her and Manchin both.
Yeah, but Sinema has stuck her ground when they have really stuck it to her. She stood her ground. She said, if we get rid of the filibuster for this, the Republicans will run over us when they take over. She's right. And she's holding her ground, and I got to give her props. She
Yeah.
actually listens.
Yeah, McChuck, that was supposedly put in a number of years ago that you couldn't go out of government directly into lobbying. It was there was a requirement that you had to be out of government for 5 years, and that somewhere along the line got overturned.
Yeah.
Don't know who did it or what. But
I'm sure we can find out, but I really don't care.
Yeah.
Um,
on a sad note, yeah, term limits one way or the other. On
no,
a sad note,
you're 72. You can't run. You
Yeah.
can't. Sorry, you're out.
Eric Flint passed away yesterday,
Yeah, I heard that.
and
He was a communist.
yeah,
He was a full-on communist. He was. But I talked to him at LibertyCon briefly. He had no idea who I was, thank
Yeah.
God. And he was perfectly kind to this nobody that walked up and shook his hand.
Yeah.
I gotta give him props for that. He sat down and talked to somebody he didn't know from Adam's off ox.
Yeah.
And the number of people he's helped. Griffin Barber's a friend of mine, I won't say fellow author. He's a Bain author, been working with Eric on his 1632 world. And Griff, who's a retired San Francisco PD officer, writes really good stuff. Griffin Barber, you should read his books.
Yeah.
Is just crushed. And he is about not communist as you can get. And he thought the world of Eric Flint.
Yeah.
I know there are some people that have major problems with him.
oh yeah,
And that's true of everybody. But I can mourn the passing of the man, leaving his politics aside.
yeah. And Cedar brings up a good point. He was the one responsible for the Bain Free Library.
And
He got Jim Bain to set that up.
Yep. And he with his own publishing house went out of his way to publish unknown authors.
Yeah.
Much like what we're doing.
Yep. And he was he gave a good friend of mine, Mike Watson, a start on the Graniteville Gazette. And Mike has since published a couple of books and has a couple of stories in the 1632 world that have been published by Bain. So,
Yeah.
you know, he did help many people. There are people who obviously didn't like him for various reasons.
He
Not
did,
going to get into that.
nah, he did do a couple of stupid stunts. He really did. And he while his politics were not in alignment with mine, we could discuss. But he had a couple of personal opinions regarding COVID that were
Yeah.
flat out stupid. But so did the majority of the rest of the country.
Yeah.
I can't ding him for that.
I think Griffin and May also have one or two published by Chris Kennedy.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Griff's a good guy.
Yeah.
Really nice guy. He's publishing in the 1632. He published under Bain has this thing where they'll get an established author and a new author, and they'll publish together. And Griff published under Eric, I think.
Yeah.
And Griff's a great guy. If you see him at a con, he's gruff.
Yeah.
He's growly, and he's a really great guy.
Yeah.
Buy his books. He needs the money.
Yeah.
He's a retired San Francisco PD officer. He needs the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, you know, may he rest in peace.
Yes.
That's all you can really say. He had a bout with cancer and lost.
Well, we all take that final journey sooner or later.
Oh yeah.
I would,
This is one thing we don't get out of alive.
and I would have liked to have been able to talk to him as a peer, as a fellow author.
Yeah.
Would have been nice. But nice isn't required.
Yeah.
It was, I got to talk to him. He was a perfectly charming gentleman, had no idea who I was, offered me encouragement.
Yeah.
I got to give the man credit.
Yep. In other news, they've our little tiny town out here, they finally paved the parking lot
No kidding.
of the grocery store that's been
Woohoo!
needing to be paved for at least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And they did an excellent job. And that was finished on Friday of last week. And today they've torn the
They
street up
just
in front of it.
they just jackhammered up the street.
So
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, there is a betting pool as to who does a better job of paving, the grocery store or the city.
Well, the grocery store, which we affectionately nicknamed Lake Lowe's, because the parking lot was so old, it had
Yeah.
bowled out, and when it rained, you were walking through ankle deep water to get into the store.
Yeah.
And they finally had enough, and they fixed the parking lot.
Yeah, Jesse, that's they're always assholes.
Oh yeah, we're finding more and more of them. The older I get, the more of them I find.
Uh,
Well, you don't need to avoid the grocery, Cedar. You just the street in front of it.
Yeah.
From just in front of the store, the street is jackhammered up. You can
Yeah.
go by either side. You can go into the parking lot. You're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty good 1-to-1 ratio generally. Yeah.
Of assholes?
Yeah.
Oh, you're being optimistic.
Well, get off.
Trust
my
me,
lawn.
right now I'm.
People that look innocent, I start to wonder about.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of looking innocent, I will not be here Thursday, so Rita has kindly agreed to be my stunt double. So Rita will be back Thursday.
And Rita has stories she wants to finish.
She wants to finish stories this time, which squirrels.
Uh,
Her squirrels lose their glow sticks faster than mine do.
Yeah.
And you can watch the glow stick just arc across the back of her eyes, and then madness.
Yeah.
You know I can hear you, right?
Yes, dear.
Differs. Where's my bullshit flag? I know I've got that son bitch around here somewhere. Although that might actually be more appropriate for her. Yeah. Rick, that's got to be San Diego.
My kid is now enrolled in a welding program. The school made him come in and talk to the guy running the program. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, Cedar.
Yeah.
You know, today's kids, you know, I'm sorry, but you've got to find Costa Mesa. Well, close enough. You've got to find out whether or not the kids will even stick to anything for over 30 friggin' days.
30 days, you're being optimistic.
Yeah, I was being polite.
24 hours these days.
But it's, you know,
It's a good little community college, Cedar. It really is. It's the Texas community colleges or tech schools, whatever they're called these days, community colleges, are really good little institutions. They are little community, little area 2-year colleges, great little institutions.
yeah, they are more what I would call old school community colleges or VOTEX. We had them back in the 60s and 70s when I was growing up. And a lot of them went on to become 2-year colleges and then become 4-year college extensions off of something else. And
I like the fact they do that. The Texas community colleges do 2-year programs and certificates. It's stuff you can use.
Yeah.
You know, Rita going to big university, and I was looking at their course schedule, and I went over to community college looking at theirs. Community college has got, you know, an associate in applied science welding.
Yeah.
You know, there's back up in Panhandle, there was associate AAS, associate in applied science, ranch and feedlot operations.
Yeah. That's guaranteed money the day you
no
start.
Kidding. You know, they do stuff, you know.
And how many of those ranch kids up there went through that program?
Oh God.
Because they were going to end up running mom and daddy's ranch.
That's the parking. No, they had one parking lot that was what we call it RFO kids, ranch and feedlot RFO, was full of RFO.
Yeah.
And was, you know, you know, it's, you can go to a community college and get your certificate or AAS in HVAC.
Yeah.
Walk out with holding your certificate in HVAC and start pulling down $27 an hour.
Yep.
You know, and certificate or AAS in plumbing,
Yeah.
in electrical work, in welding. These are
Service industries.
These are what kids need. They don't need to be going to Texas A&M and getting a degree in gender studies. They need to be going to Texas State Technical Institute and getting a 2-year degree in welding.
Yeah, a
Or-
degree in gender studies means their job's going to be. Would you like fries with that?
Or ranch and farm management, or ranch and feedlot operations,
Yeah.
or house construction in Gainesville.
Yeah.
They've got a 2-year program in residential construction.
Yeah.
And it gives you what you need to know to wire a house, to plumb a house, to build a house. In 2 years, everything, you walk out of there, and with some materials, you can build a house.
Well, hell, this little high school used to build houses in their VOTEC program.
Wayne used to live in a house they built.
Yeah.
That he's got stories about that.
Yeah, yeah, Don, he's going to make out like a rape tape with that John Deere contract.
A.L. Cirillo, they have ranch management classes. Clarendon College has a ranch and feedlot operations class. The Cook County Community College in Gainesville has a farm and ranch management class. And that's just within 200 miles of each other. I'll guarantee you in community colleges all over the state of Texas, they have farm and or ranch and or feedlot management classes or courses that you get a 2-year degree in.
Yeah.
Waco, the Texas State Technical College out of Waco, they've got a branch in Amarillo, a branch in Waco, all over the place.
Yeah.
They have a 2-year certificate or degree in flying.
Mm-hmm.
And when you graduate with your certificate, you're a aircraft multi-engine land certified pilot.
Yeah, and that's not a cheap thing to get. Part of that goes back. I was actually in the professional aviation program at Louisiana Tech in 69, 70 before I got drafted. It's a good program. And Embry-Riddle took that and ran with it.
Yep.
And the number of pilots that have come out of Embry-Riddle that have gone to military aviation and others, they also have degrees in airport management.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, one of my cohorts I flew with in the Navy had a degree from Embry-Riddle in airport management. And he is now the chief operating officer at a major airport in the state of Florida.
Last I checked, TSTC had a military track. When you got done after your 2 years, you walked across the stage you got your associate in applied science in aircraft technology or whatever the hell they call it.
A&P.
And then you walked off the stage, put on your uniform as a brand new warrant officer in the Army.
Yep.
Flying rotary aircraft.
Yep.
But I don't know about other states, and I assume other states have the same thing, but the Texas Community College program is fantastic. It really is. 2-year degrees in stuff you can start. One, I don't know of any 2-year community colleges in Texas that'll break your bank.
Yeah.
They're
affordable. And
yeah, they're affordable. And again, if like Cedar's eldest or Cedar's son, when he gets out, if he's a good welder and he applies himself, if he makes less than $20 an hour walking out of there with his certificate or his degree, I'll be shocked. Good welders in Texas, if you can make a clean weld, $30 an hour is well within your.
The reason I'm laughing, I saw a meme the other day about welding, and it was, the top said job offer welder $15 to $30
Right.
an hour. Underneath it were 2 welds.
Yeah, there was one nasty ass.
Yeah.
And then one that was it was clean and sharp.
It was nickels, yeah.
And what's the difference? Well, the top one's $15 an hour and the bottom one's $30 an hour. And I've actually heard of welders actually doing that.
Oh, yeah. And if you are a nuclear certified welder, you are in the mid 6 figures for pay.
If you're a mixed gas deep dive welder, out in the Gulf, yeah, 6 figures coming out of the gate.
Yeah.
If you can do the deep pressure diving, the deep diving and weld down there, holy gods, are you making money?
Yeah,
and
Rich.
aren't those people stuck in a bubble for like weeks and months at a time?
Well, yes.
It depends on what you're doing, Rita. Sometimes they'll put them down for a week at a time. Sometimes it's 2 weeks.
Oh, Jay says 35 an hour for welder.
Okay.
That'd be like working on a tuna boat. It'd be the kind of thing where you want to do the work like 4 or 6 months a year and spend the rest of the year. You know, I used to have I had a resident at the lofts. I'm derailing you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I had a resident.
It's life in the blanket for a baby.
Since when has this ever been on rails anyway?
Derailing is part of the. It's why
going off the rails on a crazy train.
derailing is why these folks show up.
That's right. Okay. So, yeah, more for your money then. I had a resident. My lofts that I managed that were right next to American Airlines Center in Dallas.
Yeah.
There was an elite kind of sports club there that people would have memberships, including I guess the Dallas Stars and the hockey team. That was the Stars. Was it Mavericks? Is the basketball sports teams? Anyway, and she would work during sports seasons in the tending bar up there, and she would pay her rent for the whole year in that like I don't know 6-7 month span, and the rest of the year, swear to God, and she was the most gorgeous thing, just drop dead gorgeous, long, tall, leggy brunette. Dynamite looking, and she would spend no lie the rest of her year she would spend by the pool drinking like 2 bottles of wine a day.
Yeah.
The rest of the year she would just like she'd come in then at like the end of the sports season and pay the rent for the whole until the next
Sports season,
yeah, it was crazy, but it's just like I guess if you plan carefully you can live that dream of utter dissipation.
I went
Well,
to.
there were New Zealanders that I knew when we were doing the high Arctic testing that would make 3 jumps a year in the Arctic to carve out runways.
Mm.
And they got paid $20,000 a jump. So they would jump 3 times in the Arctic, cut runways, go back to New Zealand, and not show back up until the next year because they ran out of money.
Wow.
So 60 grand for them was a year's worth of pay.
I had
Why
a
not?
night deputy one time. He was night deputy for us because he was going to Amarillo College, degree in hospitality services, which is basically running hotels and restaurants. And he got his degree in hospitality management or whatever the hell it was. And he would
Perils of Penelope.
wow. Anyway, so for 6 months, he worked for this company, and 6 months he'd go to a hotel that was in trouble, and either turn it around or shut it down, and then take what he made, turning around, and shutting it down, coast for 6 months, and then go back and say, okay, is there another one? Yep, go, and either rescue it or shut it down and coast for another 6 months.
Yep. Hey, Suburban Banshee, welcome.
Who's Suburban Banshee? Do we know Suburban Banshee?
Yes.
Okay.
We do appreciate it. And by the way, we went over 300 subscribers. What?
Why?
Why not? Hey, they got to get their dose of insanity somewhere.
300 people show up to listen to us run our yaps about things.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question, Cedar, was it the Perils of Penelope or the
Penelope?
Perils of Pauline?
Penelope.
I thought it was Perils of Pauline.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Break-in shows are the best.
Well, try to break Rita. I don't think you can do it, but you can try.
It helps with my methadone treatments. Oh, God. Rand, really? Oh, it's the squirrels.
I was at work last Thursday when Rita was on here, and because we're at work, I can't have anything that would interfere with me hearing people. So no audio whatsoever. And I was just watching, and I know from this side what it's like when my squirrels lose their glow stick and everything just devolves chaos inside my head. Watching it happen to somebody else, aka Rita, is really, that's what it looks like. Because you can watch the glow stick just fly away and her squirrels just
Oh, and some people tune in for the shirts.
Okay, that's understandable.
And I promise by Thursday we will have a new blanket or a new quilt up or whatever you call this thing. Somebody buy the damn thing, will you?
Yeah, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Richard, you're as old as I am. So,
Ooh.
who was the RCMP ranger that kept saving her? Was it Dudley Do
Dudley
Right?
Do Right. Dudley Do Right.
And who was the asshole that kept tying her up?
Snidely
Whiplash.
Snidely
Yes.
Whiplash.
God, where did that come from?
I don't know.
Can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday, but
No kidding, right? Snidely Whiplash.
oh, apparently, is it TV Land? Is actually running old Tom and Jerry cartoons and Mighty Mouse cartoons.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Oh, wow. They're going to be in trouble.
Moose and Squirrel.
Moose
yes.
and Squirrel.
He's a
Miss
fun-
Nell. That's right. You remembered faster than I could type. Okay.
Me TV. Okay.
Mm.
Jesse, as far as I know, they are not edited.
They're being very careful which
Yeah.
episodes they pick to air. I'll guarantee you that. Because Chris and I first discovered Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, and Looney Tunes in Abu Dhabi, where they're Abu Dhabi in '80. They weren't exactly concerned with being. Hello,
Hi,
how are you,
I'm good.
baby?
You an antique store?
Sort of. Hang on a
Hang
second.
on. We'll get you somebody.
Hon? Who? Hang on. Let me go find
I'd
her.
go find her.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to go.
Oh. All right. Come back anytime.
Yeah.
Somebody just walked out.
Yeah. Mammy in the kitchen are probably impossible to show.
Yeah. But
One-
but they showed him in Abu Dhabi.
One thing you will never find anywhere on TV anymore is Song of the South. It's gone.
Oh, you can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Disney memory hold that with a
Yeah.
quickness. I loved Song of the South.
Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Foghorn Leghorn. That was always freaking
Oh
hilarious.
God. Yeah, we watched the
Yogi and Boo Boo.
it's a joke meme that my introduction to opera was a transgender bunny in armor.
Yeah.
And a
Okay.
short little guy saying "killed a rabbit." That
Yeah.
was my introduction to opera.
Yeah, Suburban Banshee. Whoopi Goldberg. Boy, I just cannot talk today.
Watch Opera Doc. That's it.
Yeah.
My introduction to opera.
Did like Song of the South. Yeah, that's the other ones. Sanford, Marvin, Taz, and Yosemite Sam. You'll never see them again.
Or Speedy Gonzalez. Can you
Yeah.
imagine Speedy and Slowpoke, his cousin Slowpoke?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, there are so many that are gone.
Poor Mel.
Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote.
Poor Mel Brooks. There is nothing that man can do that would make primetime
Yeah.
ever again.
Klinger. Yeah, Klinger definitely wouldn't fly anymore.
Thunder, lightning, smack down the rabbit. But,
Yeah, they canceled Pepe Le Pew too.
yeah, they did. And that's,
Yeah, Slowpoke Rodriguez for the win. Yeah.
I'm surprised the Venture Brothers still hang on.
Yeah.
Venture Brothers, oh, ouch. Johnny Quest.
Wait, were y'all saying that Klinger wouldn't be on MASH?
Not today.
Not these days.
Yeah,
No.
he would. He'd just be bunking with the girls.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Tell me I didn't hear that.
That's okay.
Oh, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles, my ass. History of the World Part 1.
Yeah.
No.
The hell is that?
I don't know. Yeah, Johnny Quest with what was the Indian kid's name? Raji?
Uh,
Raji?
Raji, yeah.
Johnny Quest is right out.
Yep.
Jews in space.
He said, well, PC may be polite, it's not funny. No.
No.
Politically correct is not funny. No, Josh, Rita made a side comment about Klinger that just, no.
She said that Klinger would be on MASH. He'd just be bunking with the girls.
Yeah.
Peasants
Yeah.
are revolting. You're right. They stink on ice.
Yeah. Oh, airplane. Yeah, I speak jive. Oh, God,
Lord.
yes. You know, the years ago when I was working out of DC back in the early 90s, my roommate was or next door guy that lived next door to me was a black FBI agent. His daughter was going to Howard.
Okay.
And he emailed me a copy of, it was the night before Christmas, done by his daughter in Ebonics.
Oh, Lord.
And I looked at that and I saw him the next morning and I said, why did you send me that? He said, I figured you'd laugh at it. I said, yeah, I'd laugh at it. But if I show this to anybody, I'll get killed. And he goes, why? It's funny. Yes, it's funny.
But still.
It's still. And finally he just says, hell, he says, I know I'm the token black in the headquarters. And I just looked at him and I said, you're also a former SAC. You've got X number of years experience because we've had this chat.
Hmm.
He goes, yeah. He said, but I'm the token.
I remember walking past. My parents were watching History of the World, and even then it was kids don't watch this. And I was walking past the living room, and the scene in Rome where Mel Brooks and Gregory Hines are walking along, and they run into Oedipus. And they're high-fiving, and Gregory Hines goes, "What's up, motherfucker?"
Yeah.
And I stopped. And I was a teenager. I was a young teenager. And that joke just, it shows how bad off I was. I understood that joke and thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent point, Suburban Banshee. Especially where you see that is military. The military side of reenacting, because like the guys that reenact Band of Brothers, 506 PIR, they had no blacks in it.
Yeah, it's the blacks weren't in the infantry in the segregated World War II.
And there was, for a number of years, we went out. There was a guy that did a tank show out in Virginia every year. And we went out there, and the guys that did the 506 always came with all their setup, Jeeps and all 9 yards. And we were out there, this was 2013, 2014, and this woman was literally haranguing them because there weren't any blacks in the group.
Well, the same thing happened at the showing of Dunkirk.
Yeah.
That got picketed. This show got picketed because the diversity wasn't up to snuff.
And
Of the British military at Dunkirk,
Yeah.
the diversity wasn't up to scratch.
Yeah.
But these days, Sanford, if you show that clip to a teenager these days, they're not going to get it. And if they do get it, it's not funny. Not to them anyway. I thought it was hilarious.
yeah, Richard, 555th. You know, they would, and actually they had 3 reenactors there that were portraying Red Ball Express.
Okay.
3 black guys, totally cool with everything else going on. You know, because they said, we know what our fathers and grandfathers did. We are portraying accurately the history of the outfit And Red Ball Express was a major impact.
It was literally the difference between winning and not.
Yes. And people never credit that.
If you don't know Red Ball Express was the supply trucks, supply convoys.
Yeah.
That powered the D-Day, the run into Germany after D-Day.
Yep.
They got the beans, the bullets, and gasoline where it needed to go. And because African Americans were not, it was a segregated military.
Yeah.
Red Ball Express was mostly non-combat, non-combat for combat, was mostly African Americans. And they
excuse
did
me,
it.
but non-combat driving a fuel truck
Oh,
unprotected up to the front lines to
Yeah.
fill the tanks.
and then back, and then do it again, back and
That's
forth.
not combat.
Yeah, well.
That's why they got to have balls in the name.
Yeah. Yes, they did, and they clanked when they walked.
Yes, they did. They kept the beans and the bullets and the gasoline, and went above and beyond. Winning the war, the Red Ball Express was a major factor in winning the war in the European theater.
Yeah,
Has
that's
anyone done a movie about it?
I don't know.
Somebody should.
yeah. Well, and that's why logistics is so important in the military,
Oh God.
because and I'll put the research and development hat back on for a second here. One of the things that we always looked at was what the total cost of a program was over its lifetime. Even though we were doing R&D on the front end that may or may not ever end up actually getting into the fleet, we still wanted to know what the lifetime of that program would be and what the logistics would be. Because logistics is what drives the military in every way, shape, form, or fashion. And if you don't understand that, you can never be effective. One of the critical points is always how much do you have, how long does it take to get somewhere, and what's the cost benefit ratio on it. Because you have what's called LRIP, low rate initial production. That's where you build the first 5 or 10 of whatever you've invented, and it gets into the military. Then you have normal rate production. That's where they start building out with a full line. And that's where your cost ratios start getting interesting, because the cost starts coming down. But at the same time, you're also trying to figure out what your logistics tail is going to be for bits and pieces, the little things, the screws, the Zeus fasters.
D.W. Drang has a good point. Currently, in the Ukraine, the Russians are finding out exactly how important the logistics is.
Yeah. Yeah, logistics does drive everything. How many days of food in your pantry? How long to get more? And somebody did correct me, by the way. Cities are not 3 days from anarchy, they're 6. So I was wrong.
I've always heard 3.
Well, I got a lecture on that from somebody that knows,
Well then,
and it's actually 6 days, not 3. Because by the 3rd day, they're arguing about it. By the 4th day, they're going, they're robbing whoever they can rob. And by the 5th and 6th day is when everything goes straight left.
in more ways than one.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse, it's 9 meals, but the make and break is water.
I think one important question is
Rita has another comment. She's coming.
She's on the way.
what is the is there a metric on how quickly the bad people who need to go away go away?
No, there's not.
Actually,
Is that an ongoing slow?
No,
slow down?
Well,
Nope.
it's
Because it seems to me like the bad people are going to act quickly and get themselves taken out of the equation. Ideally,
it depends on where they are.
well, okay. As an example, 1st Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment is probably still is at Fort Irwin, Washington.
Yeah.
And during the 70s, a sergeant with 1st Battalion, 75th, bought a house in a nasty part of either Washington or Tacoma, I forget which, because it was cheap.
Yeah.
Well, he wound up scuffling with or having discussions with a couple of the local freelance recreational pharmaceutical distributors.
Oh,
And then-
yes, I remember this.
Yes, he invited a whole bunch of his Ranger buddies to a barbecue and told them there might be shooting later, bring guns. And apparently the firefight later went down in history.
Yeah.
And that area, might have been Tacoma, that area rapidly became
One and done.
rapid. Well, I don't know that anybody actually died, but the rounds exchanged, a whole bunch of
DW's Tacoma on Hilltop. Yeah, that's it.
yeah, Hilltop became, I guess it was Hilltop, became a nice neighborhood.
Gentrified area very
And-
quickly.
The sergeant who had bought his $8,000 house sold it for later for a lot more than he paid for it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd say he earned something for shutting that shit down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that happens. That's what happens.
Well,
is
and the other thing is, it's your question is valid. The issue is it's a regional. It's going to be a
So-
regional issue.
Results may vary. Your actual mileage may
Yes, exactly.
vary. Yeah. I'm just glad I live in a nice town where I think people will
Yeah.
mostly mind their own
That's why-
business and-
that's why we live somewhere small, baby.
Oh, DW says the Crips all missed and the Rangers are firing into the ground on purpose. And he had a 5-paragraph operator.
Jay says 275th in the 80s. Okay,
Yeah.
I was off.
Oh, yeah.
Hilltop and Tacoma.
And nothing was done to him, by the way, by the Rangers. And Seattle or Tacoma PD did not even respond until all the shooting stopped.
Well, wouldn't you? Because good Lord, that's a lot of.
Yeah.
MP, Sergeant First Class, who was Fort Lewis's liaison to Tacoma and Pierce County. Woof.
We need we need to have a chat sometime, DW.
But no, apparently it was fairly spectacular.
Uh,
Allegedly, all I know is a couple of the stuff I put together from brief mentions, which is why I got the actual unit wrong.
Oh, he never went by past E6. I'm sorry. He got blackballed by the regiment. Well, screw it. He may have gotten blackballed, but at least he was alive.
We're having a lot of colored balls in this show today.
And on that note, we're done.
Ding. Okay, folks, remembering Thursday, 3
Yeah.
o'clock, I won't be here. Rita will be my stunt double. And I will probably be at work marking down how many times her squirrels lose their glow sticks.
Thanks, folks. We appreciate your chiming in. All 32 of you. Damn.
Good God, really? Holy crap.
Uh,
Jay, you need to show up more often, dude.
and remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Be safe, guys.
We'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.